Alright, hello everyone, this is John, and in this video today I'm going to show you a very easy way and method on how to get started using SPSS Syntax. In many cases, individuals will purely run their analysis using the drop-down menu, and that will suffice. But for most individuals, especially for those who will be using SPSS analysis numerous times or will be using this program for a wide variety of analysis or perhaps repeating certain analysis, it's pretty important to get used to using the syntax because it's a very time efficient manner and it's going to help you keep a record of all your analysis so you can share it with others but also make slight changes to your analysis without having to repeatedly go through the menu changing the analysis over and over. It can become very time consuming, so that's why it's important to at least get a foot in place when it comes to looking at and interpreting and using the SPSS syntax. So the method I'm going to show today, it's called logging. It's very simple. All you're going to do is with every time you run an analysis through the drop-down menu, you're going to copy and paste that syntax from that analysis into a syntax file for later use. I'm going to show the reasons why you will probably want to do this, especially if you're sharing data with other individuals, because it's going to provide a method for you to share exactly the analysis you did, not just the results, but at the same time, if individuals want changes made to the analysis, you can purely do it through the syntax menu, or syntax file, I should say. So first, I'm going to show you where you find the log and what the log looks like in the output menu. Go to Edit, Options, and under Options, we're going to go to Viewer. And here under Viewer, it says Display Commands in Log. Mine is already selected, but depending on your defaults, it might not be selected. So every time you run an analysis in the output menu, you might not see this. But here I have mine selected, so I can click Apply, OK, and quickly I'll show you what the log looks like when you run an analysis. Here I'm just going to run a very simple correlations table. Here's the table, here's my analysis, and all this code up above is the log. This is the syntax required for running a correlations table, and depending on the type of analysis you're doing, you might want to save this code for later use. But here I'm going to show you a more thorough example on how you probably want to keep a log of your syntax, especially when working with others. So let's say, for example, you're working with other individuals and they want to look at predictors to well-being. You have a bunch of variables here. You have age, lifestyle, faith, gender, and close friends, and you want to see how they predict well-being. Let's say for your analysis, you go to Analyze, you run a linear regression, and within your linear regression, you choose 3 variables. You choose faith, gender, close friends, and you run the analysis. Running the analysis, you can see it's significant, and all 3 of the variables showed some sort of significance within your analysis, which is great. So that would be good, and in most cases, you might just want to report this to the rest of your team. But it's really important, and in my opinion, to share the syntax for your analysis as well. So here, our log shows all the code for running linear regression. We can copy this code and then paste it into a syntax file. So file new, syntax, copy and paste. We have all the code here required for running a regression, and we can save this for future use. Let's provide it with a title. So to provide a passive line that won't be actively identified within the syntax, put a star, and then you can write the title. See, right now everything is gray, meaning it's not active. So we'll call this our linear regression analysis on well-being. So we have our title, but the file, the code is still gray. So what we have to do is add a period. That makes the title non-active, but at the same time reactivates the code for our regression. In many cases, you probably would have a lot more code to share with people, but for this example, we're going to keep it very simple. Let's click Save. Make sure to save the syntax in an area you know where to find it and that you can easily access it. We'll call it our syntax. click save. So we have our syntax all done. We can share it with people. We can share the results, all good and dandy. Now, let's say the team gets back to you and doesn't necessarily agree with the approach you took to measuring well-being. Sure, it's great that you added faith, gender, and close friends into your model, your regression model, but there's other things they want you to control for and other variables they want you to add. Sure, you could easily just go through the drop-down menu and make the changes they want you to do, but at the same time, especially if you're going to keep a record of things, you might want to do that in the syntax menu or the syntax file. So let's say the team says to you, we want you to control for certain types of lifestyles, and they want you to also add age within your model. So let's go to the variable view. Under lifestyle, we have 3 different types of lifestyle. We have urban living, rural living, and apartment living. And let's say the team says to you, we don't want apartment living within the analysis. We only want the other 2. Sure, why not? So we can make that transformation. Let's go to data. We're going to select cases, and we're going to select the conditions if lifestyle is less than 3, because 3 was apartment living. We don't really want that in our analysis, or at least it's the team doesn't want that. So click continue, click OK. So now we also have another change here where we've now filtered out lifestyle, and here is the syntax for that analysis. Actually, this might be confusing because there's already analysis here, but the idea is, let's quickly run that again. Select file, OK. We run it, and the idea is now we're controlling for lifestyle. So, and we have a log of this as well. So let's include this within our syntax file. And this way we have an active log and syntax for the analysis we're doing. So let's open our original syntax file, our syntax, and what we want to do now is actually include a code where we're controlling for apartment living, because that's what the team wants. Let's put a star, and let's say controlling for apartment living. They don't want that. Right now it's gray, but part of the other code is gray, so let's add that period. So now that makes a syntax code where we're controlling for apartment living and therefore only analyzing urban and rural living. Now, let's say the team also has another request to be made. They want you to include age within your analysis as well. You didn't have age in your analysis before, but they want it included now. So like we can go down to our regression line here. We're looking at well-being, we're looking at faith, and then comparing it with faith, gender, and close friends. Very simple now. We can just add age to this analysis as well, age. And now by having age here, we can completely rerun this entire analysis and get the new results as well. So based on the recommendations of your team, we rerun the analysis. The model is significant, and of course, as they requested, they wanted to see if age would have any impact with the other variables involved, and of course it is significant. So this is a pretty good method on getting used to SPSS syntax, because by keeping an active record, you can always revisit that record to see what it is that is being run in each analysis. One thing I'd like to mention that it's really important, especially when you start selecting cases or transforming information, data within your data set, it's good to have these codes available so you know exactly what you are controlling for each type of analysis you are doing. And then this way, you know exactly what's going on, and you're not frivolously going through the drop-down menu over and over again, rerunning the same type of analysis. So by creating an active log, which we should probably save here, we can easily see that we're controlling for a apartment living and then analyzing all the variables that were requested of us.